Have you gotten your free COVID test from the government yet? If not, go online. It's very easy to do. Millions of them are arriving in mailboxes throughout the country, including places where it is freezing cold. Dr. Perry Wilson is Associate Professor of Medicine at Yale. Good morning, Dr. Perry. So talk to us about these tests. When you get them, where do you store them? Because if you leave them in the car or they're outside, would they not be as accurate maybe?
Yeah, there's some concern certainly that if they get frozen, it might affect the performance of the tests. Now, the FDA has released guidance on this. They say it's okay, actually, if they get frozen for a couple of hours, even up to a day. But you really want to check your mailbox, bring them inside, and most importantly, when you use them, make sure they're at room temperature. So let them come up to room temperature before you go ahead and use those tests.
And what about how you swab? You're swabbing your nose or your throat, because there's been mixed, experiences in this. What's going to give you the best result here?
Yeah, people have been talking about swabbing the throat in the midst of the Omicron wave. Really no strong data to suggest that that's a great idea. So the recommendation, stick with what has been tested and shown to be accurate, which is those nasal swabs. And I would add, please only swab your own nose. These tests are not designed to be used in a pool fashion for multiple people to use the same test. And obviously sharing swabs can spread disease. So just yourself, just your nose.
Yeah, you did hear some of those stories that families, households were sharing because there was such a shortage, a lack thereof. Now,
Yeah.
What about when you should take a rapid test? Because, you obviously don't want to take a test too early and get a false negative when you do indeed have the virus.
Right. Well, if you have symptoms, the best thing to do is get one of those PCR tests, although they can take a little bit of time, 24, 48 hours to return. And so some people would do a rapid test and a PCR at the same time, but the PCR is really the definitive test if you're having symptoms. The best time to use rapid tests is if you are, for example, visiting someone who's high risk, so an older individual, an unvaccinated child that's not part of your family, someone with an immunocompromising condition, and you just want to be safe before you go to visit that person. That's a great time to use a rapid test if you're asymptomatic. The other time is after you've been isolating for a positive COVID-19 test. Now, the CDC says that you don't have to test to get yourself out of isolation, but a lot of us actually recommend, if you have the tests available, having a negative, one or two negative antigen tests, rapid tests under your belt before you leave isolation is a great idea to protect the people around you if you can do that.
Great advice, Dr. Perry Wilson. Thank you so much.